Welcome to the SG Gaming Syndicate's basic guide of Warlords of Draenor. This is a class summary for Warlords of Draenor to cover all the basics behind every class and its viability for PvP. For this guide, I've considered all the glyphs, talents, and specializations available to every class and have a basic summary of all of those abilities combined. With that in mind, let's continue on. We start off here with the Death Knight, Blizzard's first and only hero class. What's great about Death Knights is they have the ability to go toe-to-toe with most classes and come out on top. They have decent burst, great lockdown capabilities, and are essentially a utility and counter class for every other class in the game. Death Knights do, however, have limited mobility and limited defensive capabilities. Basically, once they've used a few moves, they are very vulnerable to being killed without a healer. Druids are by far the best mobility class of the game. They offer amazing burst damage for their DPS specs, and they have amazing healing over time abilities. They do, however, have limited damage mitigation, and if locked down, can be killed without team support. Hunters have some of the best burst damage and mobility in the game. They can apply constant pressure and have great group utility when coupled with other DPS classes. They almost entirely lack damage mitigation though, so once the turret has been popped, they are relatively easy to lock down and kill. Ah yes, mages, Blizzard's favorite class to buff every patch, every time. Mages contribute great burst damage and have amazing crowd control potential. Properly utilizing a mage can get you the W every time. They are, however, very vulnerable to dispels, and if you have a dispeller on your team, they are quite easy to lock down and destroy, thank God. Monks add great versatility to every group. They offer great utility, mobility, and survivability, and they can put out a decent amount of burst damage as well. As a healer, they have one of the strongest damage mitigators in the game. Priests are essentially the damage mitigators of Warlords of Draenor. They have decent direct healing and mobility, and they offer some pretty strong cooldowns as well as the ability to dispel. However, they are quite easy to lock down if you have fear immunity, so utilize this. Rogues are one of the most irritating classes to deal with, mostly because they have almost unlimited mobility and amazing crowd control potential. They also put out an amazing amount of burst and have decent survivability if glyphed properly. Monitoring a rogue's cooldowns is essential. Once their cooldowns have been used, they are very easy to lock down and destroy. Shaman add great utility to the group. They have the strongest direct healing in the game, and they have some of the most powerful dispel potential as well. Shaman do lack in the damage mitigation department, and with well-timed interrupts and lockdown, Shaman can be brought down quite easily. Warriors offer amazing burst damage and can put out quite strong lockdowns. Warriors do, however, lack in damage mitigation and direct healing. Without a healer, they are relatively easy to bring down. Warlocks have the strongest damage over time abilities as well as the strongest or most potential out of crowd controls. They offer a decent amount of burst damage, but they are relatively easy to lock down and do have limited mobility, and they are also susceptible quite well to crowd controls. Paladins are a well-rounded class, offering decent healing and burst damage, as well as offering the team utility and mobility. Paladins are quite cooldown dependent though, and once they burn a few major cooldowns, they are relatively easy to control and eliminate from the game. I hope this guide has helped you a little bit in understanding the basic potential of every class in the game. Of course, how well you play your class is completely dependent on your play style, how you glyph, and how essentially you play as a person. Stay tuned for more SG videos. This is Game Insider signing off.
Created using Powtoon.